What's up? It's Brian Soscia. Here we go with another BS session. You like how I do that, Brian Soscia BS? If you want to tweet me, talk about wrestling or just BS, whatever you want to do, at the TheBrianSoscia. I love talking to you guys. Today, though, I'm super excited to talk to Ryback. I mean, it's the first time ever we've had him on the show. WWE is always good to us. Another WWE exclusive. And hey, how you doing, man? What's up, Ryback?
I'm doing great, man. I'm actually sitting out in the car outside the arena waiting to go in and get my day started. So
all right,
looking forward to it.
You got a lot of stuff to look forward to coming up in the Philadelphia area. I mean, yeah, first of all, I got to talk about Saturday, July 13th, Trenton. It's going to be a great show. You're taking on John Cena, tables match for the WWE Championship. Everyone, a who's who of WWE going to be there the night before Money in the Bank here in Philadelphia. So there's a lot of wrestling going on in the Philadelphia area.
Definitely. Yep.
Listen, man. I'm so happy to have you on.
Oh, no, thank you for having me, man. I love doing this type of stuff.
Well, I got a couple things I want to ask you about. I mean, I kind of want to take people through Ryback's mentalities and stuff. Like, when did you decide to become a wrestler? I know you've been a fan, right?
Yeah, all my life growing up, and when I was around 13, I remember my first real memory of attending a WWE live event. I went to one when I was about 5 or 6, which was headlined by Hogan and Andre. But all I really remember are the yellow tights and the black singlet. I was a little too young to really take it all in and remember it. But when I was 13, I won front row tickets, and I got to go backstage, and I was the guest bell ringer. I won a bunch of free WWE merchandise. I still have it sitting at home. My official WWF bell hammer. Whatever to ring the bell, and that they don't even have anymore. And so that was the moment I knew I wanted to be a WWE superstar. I didn't know how, I didn't know what path I was going to have to take to get there, but thankfully it all worked out, and here I am. So. That's
all. It sure has worked out. It's worked out great for you. But you say as a kid, you're there ringing the bell, you're all excited. I know how that feels. You're a big fan as a kid. But I asked Cena this, and he gave me an interesting answer, so I want to see what you have to say. How did you envision yourself when you were a kid and you dream of being a wrestler? How did you envision, did you do face painted? What did you think you were going to be?
It's one of those, even as a kid, at 12, before I ever touched a weight, I had a peak in my bicep, and I had divot, a hole in my forearm, like this forearm muscle that was just abnormal. I always pictured myself kind of, not with a shaved head necessarily, but being like that, the jacked up, muscle-bound just freak. And it's weird as a kid to kind of see yourself like that, but that's kind of how I envisioned myself. And interestingly enough, it turned out, pretty similar. So
yeah, it sure has. But before you were Ryback, I mean, we can touch on this quickly because it was on WWE TV, and I saw you at the time. I saw you when you first decided to try and become a wrestler as Skip Sheffield, and I said to my buddy Jason, I said, Jason, this guy will be a star. I saw it in you, I saw it in your look, and I just knew it. I felt it. Skip Sheffield, where did that come from? And do you think that gimmick would have been as successful as the Ryback has become?
I think it could have been very successful if handled properly, and not the same capacity. It would have been a much more of a comedy-based, more of a Santino-based character. But at the same time, I feel with my look, I could have taken it a lot further than people would have ever expected. It was one of those things. I was Ryback before in developmental. It was a little more Terminator-based at the time, and not as much more. Now it's much more me. And not as much as a character, but it was something Dusty Rhodes approached me about, wanting me to do something a little funnier, and he knew I was capable of pulling some tricks under my sleeve, and I go, sure, and I came up with this whole, it was more of a rib on Dusty at the time to me. I was like, he hated Texas A&M, and he was a Texas guy, and so I came up with this character for him. In all seriousness, I was completely against it. Called Skip Sheffield, and it was a huge joke to me. And it turned out this damn thing got so over down at Florida Championship Wrestling because I was, for the first time in my career, I didn't have to worry about, being serious, and I was allowed to just go out there and have fun. And it soon turned into the greatest positive of my life from a wrestling standpoint. And it allowed me to go out there and, like I said, have more fun than I've ever had. And that is what got me called up to the WWE roster. And when, Vince McMahon saw me, I had already debuted as Skip Sheffield. We're like 2 or 3 weeks into NXT. And Mr. McMahon pulled me aside, and he just says, "You're not doing this, and this is not who you are. I don't want you playing this guy. You're going to make me millions and millions of dollars being yourself."
Wow.
And at the time I'm thinking, well, damn it, I just put everything into getting like this, a lot of thought into this guy, and but it was the greatest thing he ever could have said to me, and we slowly got away from that, and luckily, Nexus gave me a great opportunity to be myself. With one problem is I was stuck with that dopey ass name Skip Sheffield, and luckily my injury and then being away for as long as I was, a year and a half, and the way things all turned out was another big blessing, and I was allowed to come back under my own terms and be Ryback, and thankfully I am where I am now.
Well, Ryback, first of all, I mean, there's so much you just covered there, and there's so much I want to ask you. Like, you say that you got hurt, but you still had the dopey name Skip Sheffield, like you said, and you're with Nexus. You guys had that huge opportunity, part of that infamous attack with Cena and Punk just taking over Raw. Now, I can't remember any time anything like that has ever happened, ever, in the WWE, WWF, WWF. You guys got to be part of that chaotic scene. What was that night like?
That night in Miami is a night I'll never forget, and it was something that was very spur of the moment, that was not laid out, and it was a one-shot deal. We had one chance to make that work, and it was explained to us very carefully that if things did not go like they thought they should go, that people would be fired, and I think that's why that was a very real moment with the 8 of us at that night when we had Daniel Bryan still the first night. A lot of raw emotion and a lot of guys that love WWE, that love wrestling, that we were getting our one shot that night to turn the heads of the right people in the company, and I think that's why that worked like the way it did, because that was years and years of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. And we had to do whatever we could to get notice on one night, and we did, and it's something I'm very proud of and thankful to have been a part of. And never say never. I really firmly believe down the road there'll be another Nexus reunion of sorts, but it's a little too early to make that call right now, but I would love to see that down the road.
No, you guys are all doing your own thing, and you talk about, too, get back to breaking your ankle. I mean, I've had an ankle injury, so did you, snap your ankle? Can you take me through that? And more so than taking me through it, you seem like a guy, I've heard you say it once or twice in this interview, positive things always come out of stuff. Positive. You're a positive thinker, aren't you?
That was actually, we were in Hawaii at a live event. Me and David Otunga were branching off, and we were actually, I believe, we were taking on the Hart Dynasty that night, and it looked like we might be doing a little tag team deal together for the foreseeable future. And I got tagged in near the end of the match, and Tyson Kidd started kind of coming back on me. And as I came running at him, he hit me with a drop kick. And at the time, my boots, I had brand new boots, and they were made too narrow. And my feet were very wobbly in them, and I never thought twice about it, because I've never always had really good balance, and I was like, it's just a little awkward. But the boots being so narrow, when I planted my left foot, it wasn't planted, and the drop kick connected flush in the chest. My foot literally ripped out in 3 places.
Oh my God!
I just heard all the cracking and breaking. I fell down. And Tyson Kidd was kind of wondering why I fell. I popped back up, and I continued taking his comeback for the next minute 15 seconds, in which he didn't even know I had a broken ankle. The problem was, with every step that I took as my foot was dangling, I spiral broke my leg all the way up below my knee.
Oh my God.
So I turned a really bad broken ankle in 3 places into a broken ankle and a broken leg by finishing the match, which nobody really knows about. And I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to, adrenaline is a huge thing to credit to all this, and but I also believe it's my love and passion to this. I got up and finished the entire match, and nobody knew any different. And I won that match that night, and when it was over, I laid there. The adrenaline wore off. I knew I really just screwed myself up really bad. Had to go get my leg broken back into place, the ankle somewhat, and cast it up in Hawaii. flown back home to Tampa the following day, in which I thought my whole leg and foot was going to explode from all the swelling on the airplane.
Yeah.
My toes looked like just like huge, like hot dogs when they get drenched in water, or like when they start expanding. It was disgusting. I was scared for my life. Blood clots, and it was one of those things that it should have been like a 3 or 4 month deal. It was just all broken bones. But like I said, really what would have seemed like a negative to a lot of people, I knew was the best thing that ever happened to me the moment it happened. Because the first thing I thought of was like, I'm going to be able to get rid of this name Skip Sheffield now. Now, little did I know I was going to end up needing 3 surgeries, and there would be a botched surgery in there, and nerve damage, and 3 doctors telling me that I would never wrestle again. And it was a lot of ups and downs throughout that year and a half I was gone. But it allowed me to really truly find myself and find happiness. And I came at peace with, for the first time ever, that if I could never go back to wrestling, I was all right. And I would be happy in my life no matter what. And that's kind of when everything just started changing for me. And I was able to, I said to myself, no, I'm okay if I can't do this again. It's going to suck, but I'll be okay. But I'm going to make the best of this damn thing. And I'm going to come back and show them I'm well worth keeping around for this year and a half. And luckily the WWE stuck with me and gave me an opportunity to come back and put me on the road to get the ring rust off. And my nerves started growing back, and it was a work in progress until my debut eventually. And it's one of those things, I'm still, every week I'm getting stronger and stronger. Because my nerves are just connecting better into my leg, and it's something it might take another 3 or 4 years before I'm over 100% again. But
no, hey, man, you're looking great, and there it is, the power of positive thinking. You're a great example of that. Now, look, before I let you go, I have 2 more things I want to ask you. One, we hear it or we've heard it. I don't think we're hearing it as much anymore, but, sometimes there's some chants in the crowd and you compare it to other wrestlers. I mean, does that bother you? How do you handle that? I feel like you've been doing a good job, and I feel like they're starting to go away, but how do you feel about those?
No, it's one of those, it doesn't bother me at all. I obviously wish fans would chant my name, and I'm not doing the Feed Me More right now. I kind of got sick of that whole deal, and I felt like I needed a change of pace. And but it's one of those things I attribute it, I think as a positive, and it's one of those things where like the way it motivates me even more because it's setting me up for success down the road, because it's allowing them. Each and every night I go out there and prove myself to them. I will change them one by one. I will convert them into a Ryback fan. It's very easy for them to want to chant Goldberg or whoever else they want to chant at me. But once they see me and what I'm doing and the passion that I have and how I go out there and I give this everything I got, and the displays of strength that I'm able to pull off night in and night out, 5 nights a week, and not to discredit anything anyone's done in the past, but in a day and age when you don't see a lot of guys doing the power stuff anymore, I take great pride in that, and I really firmly believe it's just me. I'm going to have to go out there and keep proving myself and having quality matches. And guys, people love to doubt and be negative and I use the word hate, but it's just something that it's just very easy for people to do because they have no idea. And the first thing I remember hearing was Ryback can't wrestle a 5-minute match; he'll blow up. And I just laughed. I was like, these people have no clue. And then it was he can't even do 10 minutes. And then it's he can't do 15. And then it's he can't do a 20-minute match. He can't do a 25-minute match. He can't do a 30-minute. I believe me and Cena have done 35, 40 now, a couple pay-per-views in a row, and the live events easily do half an hour, no problems. And it boggles my mind how people just thrive on negativity, and I wish them all the best. But if that's what they need to get through their day, more power to them.
Yeah, you can't make everybody happy, man. I mean, you are really starting to. I'm telling you, I'm amazed at how much you've shut people up. So I'm looking forward to see you continue to do that. My last thing, as we're talking about WWE in Trenton, of course, on Saturday night, July 13th, that'll be a huge show where you're taking on John Cena.
Big show. And
then the big show, you come to Philly the next night for Money in the Bank. I mean, you got Cena versus Henry. You're going to be there. And one of the big pieces of this show, especially being in Philly, is Rob Van Dam making his long-awaited return to Philly. I look at you and I look at Rob Van Dam, and Why did RVD steal your ring gear? I mean, what's going on?
I was just going to say that, and we're bringing in this guy that clearly has ripped off my ring attire. No, I'm very excited for Rob to be back with the WWE, and it's going to be, at Money in the Bank, it's going to be a tremendous night, reaction he's going to get from that Philly crowd and being at home there. And it's, obviously, we both wear singlets, and we both have airbrush things on our singlets. Granted, he's more of the peace, yin and yang type of guy, and I'm more of the destructive, Satan-like type creatures on my singlets right now and things of that nature. So, but nonetheless, we both wear singlets and they're both airbrushed. So, but luckily, we're two different animals, and I think there's enough room in the WWE for two airbrush singlets to coexist.
Good call, man. Hey, listen, you got to come back on again. I got a lot of stuff I can ask. You're a lot of fun to talk to, man. You got a very interesting story, and I do appreciate personally the fact that you were a fan before you started, and I think that's why your career is going up, up, up. I think it helps out that you were a fan. I'm
a big believer that. If you get into this, to be able to deal with the traveling and just the daily stresses of being a WWE superstar, that you have to have a deep, deep passion and love for this that has rooted into your childhood. And the most successful ones that have done this have had it all rooted in their childhood. So it's just something I believe in, and I'm very thankful that I am in this position now.
I can respect that, man. It's good that you know that, too, and it's always nice to talk to a guy like that. Ryback, your first ever appearance here, BSing, the BS session with Brian Soscia. I hope to have you back on again soon, man. Thanks for visiting with us.
Great, man. I look forward to being back on. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Ryback.
Take care.